Hello, you're watching Avenue X, and today let's talk about a recently started airing Chinese web drama 猎罪图鉴 Under the Skin, the second season. First, apologize for the ridiculous look I have on camera because it's freezing. We happen to be in the south of China, but freezing. It does not make sense, I know. But anyway, this is the best way that I feel comfortable sitting here talking for half an hour and not freezing to death, looking like a cat. For my channel's longtime viewer, you know I'm really into this IP. The first season aired in March 2022. And now this is the second season. It's been over 2 years and a half. I want to first introduce you to what's the difference between the second season and the first season, and then I'll go into talk about the story. As I'm shooting this video, it has aired right up to the midpoint, 14 episodes. And right now, at this point, it's not as bad as I worried it could be. They kept the original cast of our leading character team within this police branch. From the top leader, played by Qin Hailu, who is more like a guest star than really being in the drama that much, to everybody on the team. Obviously, the two male leads are still Tan Jiansen, Jin Shijia. Then you have the people around them, like the policewoman Li Han, the policeman Jiang Feng, coroner He Rongyue, and then even the older guy who is sort of the initial interrogator. The other thing that stayed similar to the first drama would be first the production company. It is still Ningmeng, the company with the lemon as its logo. First season was done by them with iQIYI. Second season is still done by them with iQIYI and Tencent. And then they're airing the drama at the same time on both platforms. First season 20 episodes, now it's 28 episodes. You can argue because of the success of the first season, they do inflate the second season a little bit more so that they get more screen time or whatever ad slots to promote stuff. Then there are things that are very different. First season's writing team was led by a scriptwriter whose surname is Jia. Then they had a really different idea about how they want to go about with the second season with the production company, Lemon, to the point that Lemon decided to pick another team, write the story. So they basically moved the original writing team out of the creative background of the story and had a new person coming in. So the second season is actually written by a group of totally different people. The other thing is the director and DP of the first season didn't continue working for the second one. So you have a different director and a different cinematographer for the second season. And these two major changes of the writing team and the direction and visual team, I do think made quite a bit difference if you compare the two seasons so far with the half of the second season airing. Now let's quickly talk about in the first half of the second season, what kind of things are happening. So far in the second season, first half, you have technically about 6 cases, but it's like more like 5+1 because one of them, it's more focused on one of the main characters on our leading team being the policewoman, her background story, a little bit sort of like puzzle solving case, but not really any criminal case involved in that situation. So you can call that a +1. Then you have 5 proper cases that needs to be investigated. At the end of episode 14, we actually haven't finished the 6th case fully. We need another half or 1 episode to finish it into episode 15, which hasn't aired. So technically, you can look at it as about 2 to 2.5 episodes per case. As the 28 episodes, you can foresee about, say, 10 to 12 cases in total. Right now, I'm at between Goldmine 1 and 2. The quality is not very evened out between cases. Sometimes you get a particular section that you think, oh, it's pretty well done. And then you get a particular section, it's like, why do they do it that way? Until it actually finishes, I think it will be too early to tell how I would eventually rate this drama. Now let's go into detail about what I like about second season and what I definitely have problems with. First, on the positive end, point number 1, the cases are still having a pretty well worked out quality compared to many other similar contemporary case-breaking dramas we get this year in China. I know that's a lot of conditions. One of the biggest thing I worried about this drama is the second season. It's going to drop its quality in case breaking and focusing too much on selling CPs. So far, I'd say I'm happy that it hasn't really happened. It's still mainly focused on breaking all the cases. It's still a criminal investigation police drama more than other things. It gets to the point and still has this advantage over other, I'd say, criminal investigative dramas right now, which is within each unit, the particular actor and actresses they pick for those, whether they're victims or culprits of the case, overall are still very good actors, or they do a really good job playing that role. Maybe they're not the best actors out there, but for that particular role in that 2 episodes, they're well directed and they perform to your expectation. I don't think I'm impressed by any case so far in terms of how clever it is as a very sort of traditional, let's say, detective story, but it hasn't really disappointed me. Second point is pretty much related to that, which is, like I said, I was worried it's gonna be too CP heavy, too shipping heavy. I'm appreciative of the fact that they are very constrained with their selling CP between Jin Shijia and Tan Jianci. They definitely still have quite a bit interaction, and because based on what they've done in first season, their relationship is kind of at that stage where they're treating each other definitely on a special platform than other people, but it's not being done to the point where you clearly get the signal that they're trying to sell the drama on it, and it starts to get odd. When they actually put time into giving them space, it's not as well written as the first season. It's like they know they want to push the relationship to what next stage and what they need to jump through. But then they don't quite know how expertly, perfectly put that into a specific case they're working on, so they kind of are at places forcing it to happen. Maybe that's like real people's relationship too. When it first started, it always is more interesting and engaging because everything is new. So everything you do is like a testing territory. Whereas once you get used to each other, it becomes a lot messier and less, let's say, ideal. And then the final, like the third good point about second season that made me definitely want to check it out till the end is for the main cast, they are still keeping to the pretty much exact standard of acting, performance, and engaging with their characters as they've done in first season. These are the good things. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot. I guess because I have very high expectations and I like this IP so much, so I'm just going to be naturally more picky about it than usual. Now, let's talk about what I don't like about second season. First point, I'm slightly worried as a story continues developing into the second half, it's going to be more and more like this. Right now, I already see the trend. It is concentrating too much or picking cases that are too on the spectacle side of things. They pick cases of people who commit crimes with really weird reasons, do odd things, things that are camera friendly. When you capture it with a visual story, it looks spectacular. Even how Shen Yi views those people and how he uses his super hypersensitive, whatever artist's sensitivity to break these cases. It's too veered towards things that are unusual. Whereas the realistic police work often is very boring, mundane, and there aren't that many crazy things that's always going to come into you. I mean, yeah, it happens in the world, but for one police station with one jurisdiction over a period of time, there are only going to be that many weird cases happening. So I do feel like they just happen to pick all the weirdest places to go, cases to break, criminals to run into, and then they add on top of the almost like mythological ability of Shen Yi. He's pushing it to the point not only that he's good at drawing and kind of can tell what a person's face from like one pixel on a screen. It's now moving towards like he is able to preemptively sort of figure out who is going to do what. And if you keep pushing it towards that end, it's going to be Minority Report, right? Instead of 21st century police station in China where people are still humans. And I'm worried it's just going to keep going down that route. And they do definitely psychoanalysis characters a lot in this season, and they will do it in the second half of the drama. I'm for sure knowing that will happen on Shen Yi, on his background, on why he does those things and how far he's gonna go, and Du Cheng is gonna be the reasonable guy to pull him over. They do it in a very physical way already in the drama where he literally pulls him back from a cliff in the first couple of episodes, but metaphorically speaking, he's also going to be the guy who will function in that way to keep Shen Yi grounded and as a human instead of like flying off and become completely, I don't know, Lucy in that film. I'm just worried it's too odd and too much of a lifted from ground angle for crime drama that it's going to become unbelievable. And I really like the balance of artistic interpretation and realistic groundedness of the first season. And I do feel second season is starting to fly off. Let's hope that the second half is not gonna completely go wacky. And one thing that comes with this type of storytelling of the second season that I also don't like is it really reduces the practicality and the details of life and work of policemen that usually sort of happens to the more supporting characters, the Jiang Feng or Li Han or Lao Yan character. They do things, but they kind of are just like doing those peripheral necessary work. For example, the coroner, she would have to examine bodies, obviously, but she's not gonna do anything more than that. So everybody is barely there, particularly the old guy, because in the first season, he's actually quite fun, and he does a lot of interrogation work that's actually necessary for them to break the cases. But in this drama, like, he barely shows up. So I feel if they continue doing that, the drama at the end is gonna be a little bit unbalanced because it will be too heavy on the two main leads, but then the team is gonna become invisible. Another thing I've noticed that is too distracting is probably because the success of the first season, second season, they got a lot of sponsorship, a lot more. So everywhere you look, there's implant of ads of all types of things, including sort of like sports drink, 999, which is a very well-known Chinese sort of like cold medicine. You have Pizza Hut, that definitely is supporting it because they literally eat it like multiple times. You have a Luckin Coffee that's in this. You even have this ugly-looking mobile game. Just putting too much of that into the story is starting to get really annoying. If you want to add ads into drama, there are ways to make audiences appreciate it. You kind of have to put more effort into thinking about how do I integrate that into the scene, but they just do it really bluntly, and I don't like it, and it's too much. It's getting to the point where I'm never gonna buy any of those products advertised in this drama because they're annoying. Third, whatever point, I can't remember. Actually, one of the biggest problem so far, okay. If later they have other problems, like in character and in plot, I will complain more. But so far, the biggest problem I've had is the overall downgrading of production standard. You can tell the scenes are not worked out as well, blocked out as well, shot as well as the first season. If you include music, sound editing, it's also not as good. So it's a rougher production. I feel the second season's director is not as good a visual storyteller as the first season. In terms of using cameras, using angles, using movements, using focal length, using editing, like deciding what coverage I have for what scene. The person overall deciding these things for the second season is not as good as the first season. Even sometimes the framing, literally like the angle, how they would angle the lens on characters in one scene, or how they would position them within the frame. It's like often it's like, oh, just move the camera a little bit. It's at an odd place where you put this person in. It's just so awkward. Why do you do that? My conclusion so far would be, I'm happy that I am not as disappointed as I worried I would be before it aired. I thought it's going to be completely crashing. I thought it's going to have so many problems. So far, halfway point, it hasn't happened. That I'm thankful. But I kind of guessed, because of the popularity and changing of the main creative team and the fact that production companies, end of the year annual report, they need the money, right, to look good. Certain things would have to happen to this project, and probably not for the better, for the storytelling quality. I always know that is definitely going to happen, and so far you can see traces of that happening. Luckily, it's not as bad as I thought they would be. If they can maintain what it looks like now, I'd be happy. And honestly, if they don't do a good enough job for second season, push this CP to a second stage and still make them engaging and interesting, probably then people wouldn't even care about whether there would be a third season. That would be my halfway review of the second season of Under the Skin. And if it's sort of satisfactory enough, I may make a final review on it when it finishes. Thank you for watching Avenue X. Hope you stay warm. Hope you're living somewhere that's not as wet and like going to your bone marrowly cold as where I am. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.